Good day everyone and welcome to the Test of Time update. Today we are playing as Himiko, Queen of War, probably in my top 2 for my favourite leaders in this game, next to Pachikuti of course. And for our Civ, we are of course playing as Meiji Japan, right from antiquity, and we'll be taking Japan from the Stone Age all the way to space. Real traditional Civ gameplay today. So let's step you through our abilities. Himiko's ability is called Friend of Way, and as the name implies, Himiko is really good at making friends, so she can support endeavors for free from other leaders, and she gains +4 signs for every leader that she's friendly or helpful with. And finally, if you do manage to go all the way to getting an alliance with another leader, she has a unique endeavor that allows you to both gain 25% science. As for our Civ, which by the way, I really think this should be right underneath your leader here instead of the mementos, but our ability as Meiji Japan is Goishin. When we construct a building, we gain science equal to 25% of the production cost, kind of like a reverse mine quarter, but equally very strong as the game goes on. For our mementos, we have Gordian Knot, which is Alex's new memento. This gives us +1 settlement limit, but +1 gold maintenance per age on our land units. Luckily, we won't need any of those, as this is going to be a completely peaceful game. And the Travels of Marco Polo. We've taken this as I have made this a huge map with a whopping 12 players on it. So there's going to be lots of exploring and subsequently lots of gold to be gained. So let's get right into it. So we'll take a look at our start here. Overall, so we're on the coast, that's fine. And we've got quite a few resources around us, which is good for a science game. The resources aren't great. The sheep is really good. The gold is going to be good later. The cow lin here is really quite bad, but that's okay. We've got 2 good districts we can do here for science and production. I think overall, I'm pretty happy with this. We only have 1 water tile next to us. We can put our harbour and our fishing quay here. Next to our palace. So yeah, I think we're all good. We'll go ahead and settle down here. And again, because this is a huge map and we've taken the Travels of Marco Polo, I think 3 scouts is going to be absolutely mandatory for us this game. The terrain looks a little bit rough to get around, but that should be fine. Let's send our scouts out here and we'll get scouting. For our opening tech, we're going to go straight into pottery. Pottery into writing, of course, the superior opener compared to the monument start, naturally, in most games at least, but I do think I'm a big fan of that start. Now we could go straight to the cow in here for a lot of food, but it's 5 food, which is okay, but I'd really rather production. I want to get to these sheep as quick as I can, so let's go for this tile. This is halfway between these 2 resources. Once we get the sheep, we can then go down to the cow in after that. So we got a second scout here, we'll send him down this way. Overall, this does look to be a pretty small little crevice. We're definitely on the edge of the map over here, which is interesting. As Himiko, we definitely want to be near other people, so hopefully we're not too isolated. Doing a search here, and we have managed to find a few discoveries, so we'll go ahead and move towards them. We now have all 3 of our scouts out, and in terms of what we want to produce, I think it's not outrageous to go for a 4th scout. I don't really want to build this granary right now, it's just food. Again, really keen on the production, and next turn we'll unlock pottery, which gives us the brickyard, so we can start going for that instead. Finish pottery, so we'll go up to writing, and our scout up here has discovered an absolutely insane culture spot, so we'll have to think about where we're going to put our cities. There's no fresh water around here, but this is going to be almost certainly an urban quarter at least one day, so we can get a +4 culture district down here. So our 4th scout is now out. We're just going to put him on auto explore. I think manually controlling 3 is definitely enough for now. He's probably going to go off and explore absolutely nothing, but that's okay. So now we have our brickyard. I think in terms of where we're going to put it, down here looks good. It's a flat tile, so all we'd put on here is a farm usually, which we don't care too much about. And it gets us close to this tile over here, which will eventually be, no doubt, our market, where we're going to put our gold buildings and potentially a food building as well, because of all the coastal adjacency it's got over here. So that is our first civic down. So we have a lot of stuff that's going to be going on this turn. I think in terms of our civics, we have Meiji Origins here, which gives us +50% production towards military and science buildings, which is actually extraordinarily good. But in the early game, it's probably not really going to come into play too much. Military buildings are harder to come by, and science buildings there's only 1 for a very long time. So we're just going to stick with the classic opener of getting discipline, so we can grab survey here. Scouts gain +1 movement and sight. We really want that in the early game. Speaking of scouts, we've got a lot of discoveries to be made here. We can give up signs for 1 turn to get 67 gold, which I think's that's a pretty good deal. It allows us to get our settler out a lot sooner. Let's have a look at what this discovery is as well. Okay, I actually can't look at both discoveries at once. It's going to make us go through this one first, which I guess is fair enough. Only -10 signs for 67 gold is pretty good, but the culture early game is, I think, just way too important. Getting survey is really, really good. +1 warrior or +1 migrant. I mean, you've got to go the migrant for the early game. That's really good. So we can go straight to our cow lin here. And now we'll probably go down towards this clay, I imagine, after that. Again, more production, More production is just so good in the early game. I can't really stress that enough. Even though the gold is such a fantastic resource as the game goes on, clay is just so much better early game. As for our government, you may think science is the obvious choice here, but I really can't understate how good I think oligarchy is. The science is a bonus that you get in this age, and that's going to help you progress through the text in this age, which can help you next age, but the food is forever. All the food you gain stays in your towns, stays in your cities for the rest of the game. So I'm going to be taking oligarchy in 9 out of 10 games personally, but I understand that on particularly quicker game speeds, these two become much more attractive options. I think the wonder producing one is actually quite decent as well, but for me, it's going to be oligarchy almost all the time. And for our first social policy, again, early culture I think is really good to get to survey faster, so we'll take that and we'll keep on scouting. So it looks like we do have a hostile city-state over here somewhere, so we'll have to consider that. I really don't want to run into that warrior, so I'm going to scout a little bit around. Overall, this is, pretty isolated so far. I haven't met anyone. There's no city-states to the best of our knowledge, and we are on a peninsula, so it's looking like it's going to be a bit of an isolationist Japan start, which is not actually... It might be ideal if you were just Japan, but as Himiko, that's not great. And this warrior is being really obstructionist right now, which is not appreciated. So again, we'll grow down here towards this clay. It's going to be a really good early game resource. And now that we've hit population 5, we actually went straight to population 6 because we finished a building on the same turn. We are going to start spamming out some settlers, which we could buy in 4 turns, but we can actually produce these that quick that happy to keep the gold and just produce them manually. And here's our first city-state here. So this is no doubt the hostile one, but these boats and these units are making it really hard to move around right now. This is actually 2 separate hostile city-states, Longcheng and Gatilda. Longcheng's definitely military. I don't remember what Gatilda is, so it's going to be a little bit annoying to scout. And we have managed to walk directly into this camp, but hopefully we can just sort of sneak around it here and grab these discoveries. So Longcheng here has produced a settler, and to be honest, it's getting a little bit egregious. This is actually, looks like a really decent spot for a city, to be honest. So we might incorporate them, but either way, let's start befriending them just to get them out of our hair. So that means in 10 turns, they will stop attacking us. They'll be friendly towards us, but considering the positioning that I'm looking at here from what I can see so far, they are going to be the gateway to the rest of the world, and we can't really put up with them stopping our units moving freely through here. Not an ideal start at all, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Now, in terms of our first settlement, so we've got our first settler out here, and to be honest, there's a lot of good options here. There's some really good resources up here. So, we've got Cowrie, which gives a decent amount of science early game, but particularly we've got wool and cotton, a lot of really good production bonuses. You've also got cotton and quartz over here, or gypsum rather. So I'm tempted to settle here, but this settlement here is really good as well. There's a +3 science district right there with these 3 resources around it. And you definitely want your first settlement to be your second city, what you're eventually going to make into your second city. So got to make a few important considerations here. The other thing is we've got a lot of wine here. So 2 copies of wine is really fantastic. And we could eventually snake some districts around to these mountains here for a decent culture settlement. And we've got a decent science district here. In theory, we could eventually get over to this tile for a +3 science quarter as well. Either way, I think wine is just way too good in the early game to pass up. So I think we're going to send our first settler over here, but definitely our second settler is going to be likely going up here to grab these resources up here as well. Okay, so there's discipline. Really, really fantastic, as I said. So do we want to plug out the plus from the palace? We don't actually need to. We're entering a celebration here, and we will, of course, grab the food. We're not too worried about constructing buildings this early in the game here. So now we can move over here. This scout will most likely die from this, but because we have so many scouts, I'm not too concerned. And now, this is an interesting choice here. Give the land... Okay, we've got a lot of narrative events. Let's just walk through these. Reveal the location of Longcheng. I don't think that's going to be necessary, if I'm being perfectly honest. Let's go for the gold. And food, 13 food to Tokyo. All this tile becomes a horse resource. Now, I would almost never be taking the horse resource one, but 15 food is also pretty pitiful, 13 food even. And considering I do think we're eventually going to make a city, either Longcheng into one of our cities, or a city around here, because there's, again, there's wine here, quartz here. This is a really good settlement location. I think making this into a horse tile is actually not bad. This sets up a +3, quarter here as well. So in a very rare display of not picking the instant reward here. I'm going to go for the long-term play. I just don't think the food is really that valuable. It'll make us grow to this clay 1 turn faster, but it's not really going to do much for us. Now, the unfortunate thing here is that Longcheng is kind of sending these units out right in the way where we want to be settling, and I would love to just settle the city and then buy a unit in it rather than having to walk it over, but I don't think that's going to really be feasible, so let's just go ahead and buy... Yeah, let's just buy a warrior in here, and we'll have to walk him over in the commander, which is, again, pretty annoying, but that's all right. With the commander, you can move a little bit faster, at least through this terrain. For our next civic, I think we could, again, potentially look at the Meiji Origins right now. We'll be building our library soon, and it gives us an extra settlement limit, but we're obviously really far below the settlement limit right now, so I'm happy to go for Mysticism as our second civic. So I think what we're going to do with our settlers here is this guy can go... I think I'd rather just settle on the fresh water. This city's still not terrible. In theory, it could eventually reach over to this +3. It does leave us some room later. We could put a city here, for example, or a town here later. And it does also technically leave this spot open if we do want to build an urban quarter here that's just 1 tile in total size, which would just pump out migrants for us. So not the end of the world. I think this is going to be a lot better early game just to get us going faster. The -5 happiness penalty eventually becomes completely meaningless, like you won't really care about it at all. But in the early game, happiness is actually really important. So for now, we'll take the freshwater settle, and this settler here is just going to have to hold up a little bit until we can clear this warrior out. And we found the other hostile city-state here, so they really are... We're kind of blocked away from the rest of the world through these 2 hostile military city-states, which is not ideal, but we'll get through here eventually. I just hope we're not completely isolated from our neighbors on like an island or something. And there's riding as well, so good news is with survey now we can move these scouts around very quickly. We'll grow a city and we'll take the clay, which again we'll plug right in here, which is giving us +1 production from our warehouse building over here, which is the brickyard. And we've built our warrior here. This definitely looks like new unit models here. I think they did mention they've got some new unit models, and of course all the units in Civ 7 look absolutely fantastic. I mean, looking at all of the units here, these all look... I think these are all brand new models, so... As always, Civ 7 continues to be just incredibly good looking when you zoom in. We'll move that warrior into the commander and then we'll move him up this way. The good news is it looks like this warrior is like fully just tracking this scout and following him around, so we can actually potentially sneak our settler up here for now. It will just be out of sight of the warrior. I think for our next tech here, we will go for sailing, just noting that it's going to help us scout around a lot easier. Right now, we're very constrained by the terrain, so let's go for that. And we'll try and sneak this discovery up here as well. Avoiding Longcheng, he's got a slinger down here. So the warrior actually moved up this way, so he's trying to be a little bit sneaky. That's okay. We'll keep moving our commander over here. It just means we can't move our settler down here because I'm about 90% sure, yeah, there's a warrior right there. So the settler's going to get hit for 1 turn. That's okay, he'll survive until the next turn. Okay, and there it is. So we've found our first civilization, so that's not too bad. They are reasonably close, and the good news is, this is Catherine. And I'll explain why Catherine's really good. We'll do a friendly greeting with her, so spend a little bit of influence, but we'll go straight to 20 friendship with her. We're probably going to be doing friendly greetings with everyone we meet, to be honest. This also reveals her capital, but the reason why meeting Catherine is so good as Himiko, and we're not the first person to meet her, which is a bit unfortunate, is that she is one of the very few leaders in the game. I think it's Ada and Catherine that do cultural and scientific endeavors, so kind of the 2 best ones in the early game. So that's really good. It's a shame we didn't meet her first, because then she'd probably send all of her endeavors to us, but that's okay. Well, it's good to have met her. We can start building up our relationship with her, hopefully. So we'll move our commander around. Because we've got a unit packed in there, the commander has 3 movements instead of 2, so we can move this warrior up here and unpack them, and we can also go ahead and just plonk the commander on there as well. And now we've just got to sort of smash through this warrior so we can get through to this settlement. Probably going to settle right on this tile here where he's standing. Speaking of course, a hostile scout from Longcheng has also moved on to the tile. It's going to settle up here, so we'll just have to wait a turn there. It's really annoying, but that's okay. We'll survive. And we'll do a little scout over this way. We'll just see if we can take a peek at some of her land. Do see a discovery up there as well, which is really good. But we really just need to get more of our scouts over to this direction. It's really, really annoying right now, the way this is sort of set up. Gain 33 gold or sacrifice 33 gold for the earliest available technology, but we'll definitely be taking that. Of course, we got the one that we were researching, which is typical, but... Oh, it looks like it actually... They've changed this, so it carries over. So I finished sailing, and it gave me animal husbandry for free, is that right? We got animal husbandry for free. I think that might be slightly bugged. It finished our sailing for us as well. We're just going to pretend we didn't see that. So we just got the earliest available technology. That is really, really good for us. Okay, this is getting a little bit dicey here, not going to lie. We really just want to settle this city, to be honest. I'm tempted to just, backpedal a bit here and settle it here, but that would just be a little bit too close to the capital. But this is getting really annoying. We're going to have to see if we can't survive with this one warrior potentially smashing into a slinger. We'll do our best. I think this is probably the best move we can make, but really hoping this guy doesn't die. That was this would just get so painful. And it's actually there's a second slinger down here, so that's really frustrating. In 3 turns, Longcheng will become friendly and we can stop worrying about this, but in the meantime, this is kind of slowing us down a lot. Good news is the scout up here moved off this tile, so we can at least get our second city out, finally. And this was, all in all, I guess a pretty slow start. I mean, it's turn 22 and we only have my 1 city still. We have 3 settlers on the map, which is fantastic, but they just can't get to where they need to go. Speaking of where they need to go, I think for our 4th settlement here, I know I said we were going to potentially integrate Longcheng, but that's going to take a very long time. So I think for now, this is a really fantastic spot over here. Again, 3 copies of wine within range of this settlement. This is going to be a stupid amount of culture, to be honest. This is was intending to be a science game, but we're going to have really insane culture in the early game here. And it's on fresh water, and it's on the coast. I think it's just a really good settlement. Yeah, this is looking pretty good, actually. It's a slow start, but I think overall it has really good long-term potential. Now, in terms of our next building here, we could get this library down, but it's not really that much better than just going ahead and grabbing our saw pit here. This gives us production from the clay, production from the saw pit, production to all our future woodcutters, and because we're finishing a quarter next to our palace, we get +1 science and culture. Overall, for 2 turns, this is a really good value. And the good news is, because we have sailing now, we can, I was going to say, we can avoid Longcheng and just go via the seas, but it looks like we've run straight into yet another hostile city-state. Retinue, I believe, is a science one, which is kind of good for us, but not ideal when we're trying to move around in the early game once again. So 2 turns until Longcheng is friendly with us, but we're not going to survive the 2 turns at this rate, to be honest. I'm not even really sure who gets hit first between a commander or a settler. I think we might have to go ahead and just tuck this settler inside the commander. What we can do otherwise, we can get this promotion here. We're just going to go straight for leadership. I really don't foresee us needing any sort of combat prowess this game at all. But I guess at the very least, they are going to be fortifying next turn. I can't attack in here. This warrior is almost certainly going to die, but I really just, you know what? Actually, it's not worth it. We can just, instead of letting this warrior die, we're going to have to move this commander away anyway. So let's just kind of move up here. Again, this is slowing us down a lot. You get our second settlement over here, but this is really frustrating. I can't get into my scouts where they need to be going. I can't get my settlements down. This one city-state here is kind of destroying us in the early game. We're 25% of the way through the age, and we've only just settled our second city. So this is not going great, but again, I think this start's got a really good long-term potential. The good news is we've met people, so we're kind of close, but we are reasonably isolated. I mean, this continent so far is kind of divided into this, chunk over here by this thin passageway. So if we can eventually control this passageway, we can settle all of this land to ourselves. And it looks like there's a, good sort of 10 to 12 settlements we could fit in here. So pretty happy with this overall. Growing our first settlement over here, which is Osaka. Let's go ahead and grow towards this cotton. Really good. We don't need these camels right now at all. This settler is taking a really interesting route to get over here, but I guess, again, because of the sort of hostile forces in the middle here, it's probably a pretty reasonable route, all things considered. In saying that, we do need to worry about this boat potentially attacking this settler as it comes in, so we have to move away from Longcheng here because they're going to hit us, but if we move towards the coast, this boat from Retinue is going to hit us. The river my scout was in just flooded while I was traversing through it. It's really not going great. And of course, the discovery I grab over here, unfortunately, this scout is almost certainly going to die to this boat. Really, really struggling with our early game scouting right now. It's just impossible to get anywhere. Okay, our saw pit is finished in Tokyo, so we can go ahead and now I think it's fair enough. We'll grab our library, so that gives us a chance to reassign a tile, and we'll get this fantastic 2-2 woodcutter here. Again, the saw pit getting down is really, really beneficial for us. Okay, this scout over here did manage to survive, and finally, Longcheng is no longer hostile towards us, so we can go ahead and at long last, move our settler out here. You can pack your settlers into commanders, by the way, so little neat tip there. It's a bit of a worst case scenario type thing, but there you go. It's come in handy here. And fortunately, actually, a stroke of luck, our scout has not died to this boat for some reason, so we'll move him down this way. And I think I'm happy for him to keep moving around. We'll be a little bit greedy here. Third growth on Osaka. Again, we'll grab the cotton and immediately move it into the capital. You always want production to be in cities, not towns. When your towns have production, it gets converted 1-to-1 to gold. So if this town, for example, had 2 production, you can see we got +2 gold there. But thing is, production is worth 4 gold generally. So yeah, you always want to move your production into your cities where possible. And we can found our third town here of Fushimi. And I think we'll just let this commander heal up for a bit. In fact, considering we have Zeal, so this is giving us, I took this promotion earlier, +5% to all yields. Let's go ahead and just move him back to the capital and then we'll heal up there. Now, this isn't a narrative event. You'll get almost every single game. So 15% production towards buildings in Tokyo or 10% buildings just generally across your empire. I don't think the payoff is really beneficial enough to consolidate power in the capital. So I'm almost always going to go ahead and take this option, particularly because as Japan, we do want to be building lots and lots of buildings, so production's really great for us. So we're going to be getting one of these settlements up to a city as quick as we can. Now, we have a celebration. It's not for a little while, so I think I'm inclined to go for the rice first, and then we'll go for the wine as soon as we get closer towards that celebration. Wine, of course, if you didn't know, gives +5 culture when you are in a celebration. So we have a narrative event here, call the mountain. Have a settlement adjacent to a mountain, have a settlement with 10 population, or we can just take the gold. Now, I don't actually foresee us having a settlement next to a mountain for a very long time, but I don't really want to be focusing on culture too much. I really need the science on deity, versus the deity AI. You need to get those yields up quite quick. Even though this is going to take a very long time to complete, like possibly the very end of this age. Let's go for the science one there. Only because I'm pretty sure that ends with us getting a science attribute point, which is going to be really important for us. The other thing we can do here, we have the option to do, is get our Pantheon. So City Patron Goddess is gone, of course. The AI loves to take that one, but it's fair enough. It's not that good anyway, particularly on us. Himiko doesn't really need that much influence because we can support everything for free. I think God of the Wisdom here is going to be fair enough. It's just a really decent sort of science one. And it does synergize with our abilities, considering we get 25% extra science from the Friend of Wei ability. This will mean, every 4 quarters we have technically gives us an extra 5th quarter in terms of the science bonus. It's 25%, so more science is good. That's basically what I'm trying to get at here. For our next civic, I think I'm pretty happy to go ahead for Code of Laws. This will allow us to start trading with other civilizations, which again gets our relationship up a lot faster. It's +10 relationship every time you start a trade route with someone. Now we are out of range at the moment, but one day we won't be. So let's just go for Code of Laws for now. I think that's good to start getting our all the people on side here. And for our next building, let's go for the altar. So building the altar here is not great because it's kind of a good science and production spot, but completing the quarters next to your palace is just so important in the early game that I think getting this altar down early is definitely worth it. Speaking of, we did just get our first scientific attribute point. That's because I think we've just researched our first 5 technologies here, so that's really good. We can go ahead and appoint that. Don't have any options right now. +1 science per age on the palace and the city halls is a pretty substantial buff right now, considering we only have 19 science. And we'll go ahead and start getting bronze working, mainly for the barracks here, which again gives us a lot of production. It's a military building, which we're really good at building, or at least we will be eventually, but production early game is just so good. Let's go ahead and grab bronze working. We've actually met another city-state over here. So we've met Feistus, but Catherine is just about to befriend them. But there's actually a friendly science city-state over here. Teotihuacan. But glad to at least have gotten one science city-state on side. That's really handy. And again, we could take the camels up here in Osaka, our second settlement, but again, I just don't think it's that valuable. So let's go ahead and grab, start moving towards the gypsum here. When we do make one of these into a second city, the gypsum is going to be absolutely fantastic to get that moving really, really quick. And looking at our buildings here, there's nothing that I'm too attached to building. So I think we're actually going to go ahead and try, if we can, to grab the hanging gardens. If we put the hanging gardens here, this makes both of these tiles really, really good science and production districts in the future. So let's go ahead and grab that. I mean, the other point is that if we can manage to get down to this attribute node here, this is like the best attribute in the game. So getting +1 expansionist point towards that's just pretty solid. Worst case, it gives us the production point towards settlers. Either way, hanging gardens is a pretty decent wonder. So I don't expect us to be able to get it. We're pretty late to the game here, all things considered, but early game science is all right. I mean, looking at Catherine, who's a really good early game leader, particularly as Russia. They get a lot of science and culture early game from being in the tundra, so she's got double S science, but that's okay. That's kind of what you expect when you play deity. So I'm going to keep scouting, and the reason why I'm scouting quite aggressively here is that Catherine has met 3 other people that we haven't met, and I want to meet them as quick as I can so that they can start potentially, hopefully, sending me endeavors. So even though the scout is quite low, I want to go and see the world as quick as I can. There's nothing down here because it's all tundra, so chances are everyone's up here, and I just need to meet them as quick as I can. We are able to get our 4th settlement down now, so it's on the coast, which is slightly threatening considering retinue here is sort of pulling up to us, but hopefully we'll be okay. And again, speaking of hostile, I mean, I've skipped a lot of turns here just to, you haven't seen all the scouting, but rest assured it's just me sort of deftly trying to avoid barbarians as often as I can, but there's a lot of them around. It's quite a hostile start for me, who's really trying their best to avoid making any sort of units. But I suspect we're going to have to end up making a slinger in this city. So let's start moving towards our 2nd copy of wine over here. And in our new settlement, we can go ahead and grab this other copy of wine straight away. So in 2 turns, you're going to see our culture is going to go absolutely bonkers. And we got our first endeavor here from Catherine the Great. So as you can see, we can support this for free. 6 science for both of us. It's a huge boost in the early game, up to 29 science. That is really good. I'm glad she started sending us endeavors. That means she's going to become even friendlier with us as we support them, which will make her send more endeavors, and so on and so on. It's a really good loop for us. So here's our celebration. So let's go ahead and take the food again, and we'll grab this fantastic card here, Priesthood, for +8 gold. And you can see we've gone up to 16 science from all of our copies of wine. We're going to grab a 3rd copy down here soon, and we've now got the gypsum down here. This town's growing quite rapidly down to this copy of wine here. So we're going to end up having +20 culture every time we go into a celebration quite quickly in the early game here, which is really fantastic. Got another diplomatic action, so Catherine's requesting to open borders. That is always free for us to do, so that's fine. And the Hanging Gardens is actually looking like it's on the cards here, 2 turns, so cross your fingers. We might actually be able to grab that, which I'm pretty surprised about, to be honest. All right, 1 turn away from the Hanging Gardens now, so surely we've got that in the bag. Longchang has given us our options. We're there suzerain now, and I think the settlement limit, again, not too concerned about much of this other stuff that's combat related. Hill forts are really, really good, and if we do end up getting this 2nd military city-state down here, I'll definitely be going for hill forts, but for now, I think the +1 settlement limit is really good. It's going to pay off quite quickly for us as we settle all of our little peninsula over here. And here's our 3rd copy of wine, so another +5 culture. Now we're getting pretty competitive. 30 science and 31 culture on turn 35 is really, really strong. Still haven't managed to meet anyone other than Catherine, though, so I'm a little bit confused as to where everyone else is. It kind of looks like it's just an island with us too, but it obviously isn't. Unless they are just on an island somewhere else that we haven't sort of gotten to yet, but so far so good. And there's the Hanging Gardens, which I'm really surprised we got this. I kind of just started building it because I thought, well, there's no harm in doing that. There wasn't much else to build at the time, but there you go. Hanging Gardens unlocked and bronze working unlocked. So this is now a really good spot for this barracks here. You can see +3 adjacency. That is really good stuff. There's our 4th copy of wine down in Kagoshima, up to 36 culture now. It really is insane. Put our expansionist point in so we can train settlers up faster. And speaking of, I mean, we could get this barracks down, but it's gonna, I mean, it gets rid of a really solid woodcutter here. So I think, to be honest, we can just go ahead and make 2 more settlers here for now. Gets us up to our 6 settlement limit cap quite quickly. And for our next tech, we can go ahead and grab currency, working our way towards mathematics. If we could grab the Great Library down here, that would be absolutely phenomenal, but really definitely not holding my breath on that one. Hanging Gardens was a bit of a fluke. The Great Library is really hard to get, even though it's absolutely amazing. Okay, a lot of stuff just happened. We've just inexplicably met a lot of people. It's because we managed to befriend at this science city-state over here, so we just met half the world, basically. So great job scouting to the city-state. Let's run through the gauntlet here. Got Gilgamesh, friendly meet. Saida, friendly meet. And Benjamin Franklin, friendly meet. He really likes sending endeavors, so that's really good to see as well. And as for our city-state bonus for this city-state, I think going Philosopher's Circle here is fine. Again, this gives us science that will be multiplied by our bonus. The free technology is always really good, and they have changed this, so now it's completely random. So it used to just be you got the worst mastery you could, basically, or something like masonry back here. Now it technically could give us navigation, for example, once we finish currency, but picking that right now is very not ideal, to be honest, because of the timing. Step pyramids are really, really good, but I think overall Philosopher's Circle is just a really solid one. Archimedes' Screw is also really, really good, but I'm not hard to say exactly how many brickyards and harbours we'll be building this game, so Let's go ahead and grab this and we'll see how that goes. Finishing Code of Laws also gave us +1 tradition slot, so we can go ahead and look at that. I think we'll go ahead and take the influence for now. We should ideally probably start sending some endeavors out if we can. It's nice, it's really fantastic that Said actually is straight to friendly for us. +20 from our first meet, which we spent the influence on, +10 from shared government, and +5 from the leader agenda. We have no naval units, so she really likes that, which gives us immediately a +4 science. So we're getting +8 science from our friendly relationships right now. Unfortunately, these two did not pick oligarchy, so they're not immediately friendly. Benjamin Franklin actually is going to be a bit annoying because he really doesn't like it when you don't share the same government type as him, which is a bit frustrating because he would be a really good one to get on side for sending endeavors because he can send so many. For our next civic here, again, Meiji Origins is always tempting me, and we do have syncretism to consider one day as well, but I think getting Amelia Bell here, this is a really, really good wonder for Himiko. Getting the Ginseng Agreement, it's a unique endeavor that gives you a lot. It's just another avenue for you to be able to increase your relationship with other leaders. So I don't usually go for citizenship this quickly, but I think as Himiko, this is definitely worthwhile. After that, we'll probably work towards Meiji Origins. There are a lot of boats hanging around Kagoshima up here, which I'm a bit concerned about. The other thing is that Fushimi here has just hit population 6, and I think this is going to be our first city. Let's go ahead and do that. As for our first building here, I mean, going for the saw pit, it's just so much production. So the thing is, I do want to kind of use this saw pit potentially here to get around to this tile here. So even though this is pretty inefficient overall, let's go ahead and grab this library first, which is it's a +7 science library, mind you, because of our adjacencies here and the city-state we just picked up. So that's really good. The other option here we could do as well is put the barracks down first, which again, now that I'm here, let's go ahead and build the barracks first. Probably going to do barracks here and then a saw pit here, and then we'll go back and build the library, and we'll go from there. But now that we do have the second city up, we can go ahead and plug the gypsum in, +4 production over here, where it's only worth 2 production up in Tokyo, or 2.2 because of the commander, I think. A much better sort of way to position your resources, and has brought this barracks down from 12 turns to 7. So just goes to show you just how insane gypsum is. Really is, top 3 resources in the game for sure. Now, as we defend our city over here, great to see Catherine continues to send us endeavors. So +6 culture for both of us once again. Really, really good. I just kind of wish that more leaders would be sending us stuff. To be fair, I'm not sure what Saeedi's ones are. And we can make our first trade route here. It's just a long chain. It's not very great. It gives us 1 clay, which is fine. Overall, not that fantastic, but it does mean we can move some of our resources around. And they're going to be just a little bit more efficient than they were before. Not worth plugging this in right now. It would mean we have to get rid of our camels just for 0.5 culture. So these are much more valuable. This stupid resource screen is awful. Much more valuable unassigned, giving us +2 gold and +2 happiness. It's 1 for each. We have a choice between a codex and some influence here. Now the influence is really tempting to potentially start befriending Gatilda here, just because they're making so many units. They have so many boats around as well that are really kind of stopping us from getting where we want to go. So I do want to befriend them, but I think the codex is just really good. Codexes are pretty hard to come by in the Antiquity Age, and it's your first source of scientific score, which we'll talk about, potentially as the game goes on a bit, but we've got 1 point towards the space victory now. You need to get to 100 points total. So we're going to take the codex now, that's fine. And true to my word, we can settle this city up here. So this is Sendai. We can grab a lot of these resources up here a lot quicker than we would have if we were growing from this city over here. This is shaping up to be just a classic sort of fishing town that's going to feed Osaka and our capital, which is really good for us. I've researched currency now, so we can start getting specialists, although we probably won't. They're not very good in my experience. But let's go ahead and grab engineering on our way towards mathematics. And another diplomatic action here. So again, support, +6 science. Really, really love to see that. Straight into a celebration, we can plug in our last card for tool making. Again, if we were going down Meiji Origins, this would be a great time to plug in the production card for military and science buildings. This would speed up Fushimi a lot, actually. It would be quite helpful. Potentially a mistake there. It's a really good card, and tool making is obviously terrible, so potentially a misplay there, but no, it's overall not really the end of the world. We have actually managed to meet a 6th civilization here, which is fantastic. So here's Green Xerxes. Do a friendly greeting to him so we can see where his capital is. And yeah, it's really good. I think we've met probably, by the looks of it, everyone on our continent, which is really great. So that's half the world met. So hopefully all the endeavors just start flowing in. So this district we placed down here, a very long time ago has now set us up perfectly for a really good market over here. For adjacency on the coast here. I do kind of want this bath actually though. It represents quite a lot of food over the course of the rest of the age, in which we could put straight in the city center. I truthfully have no idea why this bath is granting +1 science, to be honest. Totally get the food adjacency. Potentially there's something going on here with this becoming a quarter. I've got some sort of quarter adjacency effect. It's from my altar. It's from my altar, which gives +1 science a quarters. That makes sense. So happy with that. Let's go ahead and grab the bath here, which gives 10% growth rate to the city, which is going to help this, capital grow a lot quicker. Considering we're not even halfway through the age yet, I think that'll sort of pay itself off quite well. And we can potentially start looking at some specialists, but again, I'm really not a fan of specialists in the test of time patch. Or I should clarify, I love the direction they've gone, but I just think they're really, really weak right now. And unfortunately, I just saw someone actually build Amelia Bell. It was an unknown player, so that is now gone. Is it worth it to still sort of keep progressing with citizenship here? Cast is a pretty good card, +2 food in all settlements. Drama and poetry will be good eventually when we do start building our monuments. I think it's fine to finish off citizenship. It's not great though. +2 food. There's no military and science buildings we're going to be building for the immediate time being now that Fushimi has almost finished its barracks. So let's just finish off citizenship. That's not ideal, but it's fine. And we'll go down to this woodcutter down here. Again, looking at these specialist yields, they're just not really that worth it in the early game, to be honest. So let's just take the production, food, culture, happiness. That's all really good with no downside. Okay, good news is Green Xerxes has started sending us endeavors as well, so we can go ahead and support that. Hopefully we can get him to be nice and friendly with us too. Well, it looks like he really hates our leader agenda because we have set up a trade route, which he didn't like. Our 6th settlement going down here, Nagoya. This is just potentially here to capture, a lot of this area. There's a decent culture district in here. We might be able to get to the silver eventually, potentially, although that's probably going to be the role of this settlement down here, assuming there's space. Yeah, this looks like a good one down here. We can grab this salt. Overall, it's kind of just filling the space. It's not a great settlement, but one day it'll just be a nice little town producing some food for us. We have another quest we can start up here. So start for diplomatic endeavors, which we'll get a diplomatic point for. Really good for us. Or we can just grab a spearman. Let's go ahead and grab the quest for sure. I think we'll start befriending this city-state. Considering I'm looking around, Chanshin would be alright, cultural city-state. But I really think I just want to get rid of this sort of hostile power that's going to be stopping me from moving around and doing stuff. Kind of have to keep all these units around here as well to defend, although that's from Catan. Either way, I think I'll just start befriending this and then worry about diplomatic endeavors after that. And now that the bath is down, let's go ahead and grab this fantastic 7 gold market over here. Actually, before I do that, I should definitely finish this district as well. So I built a harbour here earlier. Let's build the fishing quay on it. It only takes 1 turn, and again, it's science, it's culture, it's everything we want. So let's finish that. I can't stress enough how good it is to finish these quarters around your palace in the early game. It's a really fantastic source of science and culture. And you can see here, we're already competitive or have overtaken a lot of the AIs. We're on 6 settlements on turn 46. I think this game has really turned around quite quickly for us. The isolationist aspect definitely helps, so we haven't had to build too many units. We've got an archer, 2 swordsmen, a slinger, so we've managed to run pretty lean on military units, which is good. And Saeed is inviting us to get military aid, so I'm tempted to just accept this one rather than support it. Although, I mean, I guess I'll support it just so I can get my relationship up with her. She might become my first ally at this rate. Although in saying that, I've just noticed we're on +59 with Catherine. So there you go. She's going to be our first ally for sure. And as a side note here, I mean, it's got to be said, I wasn't too sold on the idea of them, making civ switching optional at first or kind of backtracking that. But playing against the AI, I mean, doesn't it just feels good. I'm going up against Xerxes of Persia, Catherine's Russia, Benjamin Franklin's America. I hate to say it, but this just feels great. It just makes sense. It has added so much thematic flavor back to the game, I think, that I really appreciate. Just for the AI. As a player, again, I think the options to switch are still really, really good, and all the work they've done here is fantastic, but God, it just feels really great. I'm glad to have this back. So we finished citizenship finally. Now, again, I guess we could get a bit greedy here. We could try and go for Nalanda, which gives us some really decent buffs towards our science victory. You can see we get the attribute point. The innovation, literature is really good at building science buildings faster. It's pretty greedy. I mean, I really should get that civic, but I'm going to try and get Nalanda. It sounds like there's someone racing me for this sort of thing, but let's just give it a crack anyway. And I think we have a lot of gold here, and Osaka is, getting to be 7 population now. It's about the time you start converting it into a city. I was about to say I'll make this into a city, but I think really Kagoshima has got this fantastic triangle we set up earlier, so there's a really good district spot here. It's a little bit cramped next to Longchang, which again we might convert somewhat soon, but I think Osaka, it might become a city one day, but for now I think we'll just let it to grow at least one more tile to this cotton, and then we'll decide what we're going to do with it, because we could make it into a city, and it would be decent. There's a decent spot here for, 2 districts, but we'll see how that goes. And Catherine, we've now got love hearts with her, so let's see what's going on here. And she's actually offered to establish the alliance, which is fantastic for us, so there you go. Our first alliance is online, which, as you can see, unlocks a new action here, Friend of Way, which we don't have enough influence for right now. But really, really strong endeavor to start. 25% science for both of you. That's going to represent a lot of science. Although right now it's not like outrageously good, but it definitely will be one day. And good to get an ally this early in the game on side. And let's go ahead and finish this district over here, finish this garden. Let's see, it was a good time to start befriending this city-state because someone has decided to incite a raid against me. Got a commander over here packed with a ton of units. Of course, I set my scout to auto-explore down here, and he immediately found the nearest barbarian and ran into it. Yeah, good time to start befriending them, because this is going to get a little bit dicey, as evidenced. So he's just unpacked all of his units, and there's a lot going on here. The good news is, because it is so cramped, there's a lot of cliffs here, 1 archer and 1 warrior can probably defend this realistically. But sure enough, they are definitely coming at us, so we've upgraded this guy into a spearman. Hopefully he can tank long enough for this archer to kind of ping away at people, but we have to survive about 8 turns until they're friendly with us, so let's do the best we can over there. Speaking of, and it's now time, we'll upgrade Kagoshima over here, so we can start making units in here if we need to. The other option, of course, is to start producing some buildings, and I think I'd love to be greedy, but let's actually just grab 1 single boat. This should help us, A, explore, and 2, deal with this nonsense over here. We could also potentially sail the boat over to Retinue and pillage that, which would be great to take a city-state off of the AI. Kind of hoping for a bit more support from Longchang here as well, not gonna lie, but that's okay. It looks like this guy is copping a pretty serious beating. We might have to pull him back 1 tile, just because this archer's hitting him as well. So let's go ahead and do that and see if he can't fortify as well. Now, I could start the Friend of Way here with Catherine, but I think it's going to be probably more beneficial if I focus on getting my relationship up with everyone else at the same time. So let's send a research collaboration to Gilgamesh. He only accepted, he didn't support it. But that's 4 signs for us, which is not that much worse than a Friend of Way, which would have been, 60 signs. It's about 15 signs overall. So it's not that much worse. And it will eventually get him to be friendly with us, which is an additional +4 signs. So, 8 signs total from that versus, 12, 13-ish from Friend of Way. I think this is more worthwhile. And it's a cheaper endeavor as well, so we can get closer towards the Store of the Mountain. So we have managed to work our way all the way around to start building some cultural districts up here. Funnily enough, we haven't even unlocked the monument yet, but we've got the amphitheater, so we've got our tier 2 building first, which is pretty funny. You don't see that too often. But let's go ahead and just grab our altar. I think putting it in the city center's fine, although that could be a decent spot for a science district one day, but even then it's not actually that great. So let's just build the altar in the city center. Again, it finishes another quarter for the altar effect itself. And we did build another merchant just because we can inexplicably, I mean, this is peak Civ 7, like trade routes and connections right here. I apparently can't reach any of these settlements closer to Adulis. Like, I'm going through St. Louis, Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh, but I can't reach those. Out of range. But I can go through them over here to reach Adulis, which is like 3 times further away. So make it make sense. I have no idea why that's the case, and no one will ever be able to explain it to me. We've finished making another settler here, which we can send out to get our 7th settlement online, which again is really pretty solid for us. In terms of where this is going to go, I think we'll stick to our original plan. Let's go down here and grab this 2 copies of silver, some salt, some pearls. Pretty decent settlement overall. Again, just going to feed back into our towns. But in terms of what we want to make next, we could go for the amphitheater, which is going to be not great because there's no mountains around us at all. But it will speed up our wonder production. But alternatively, we could go for Bursa, which, again, like the worst wonder in the game, by the way. I'm literally, this is purely an adjacency stick. But if we build it here and here, that's 2 really good gold and food quarters that are going to be potentially affected by this. So even though this wonder is like absolutely horrendous, let's just build it. And I really don't foresee us getting a fourth city up. So I think Osaka, which has now grown to this cotton, I think I'm pretty happy to go ahead and turn you into a specialized town. We are getting quite a lot of gold overall from stuff like Marco Polo. So let's go ahead. I think we can afford to make this into a urban center. And we can grab something like a library down here. I don't think I'll do that right now, but it's an option in the future. And because Kagoshima is just getting absolutely rinsed with units here, we can't actually build too much because all the districts are getting blocked. So let's just start building a brickyard up this way. Okay, well, Bursa got stolen by our own ally, but that's fine. Again, really wasn't expecting to even get Bursa in the first place. It was only just going to be here to give us, you know, at best, like +4 gold and +4 food. So not the end of the world there. This boat is being so annoying. We only have, fortunately, one more turn until Catilda down here is friendly with us, but man, they've really made us work for it, to be honest. Luckily, Kagoshima like totally fine now, but really frustrating city-state interactions this game. We've got a narrative event here, 7 houses, 7 cats, each cat kills 7 mice, each mouse has eaten 7 grains of barley, each grain will produce 7 gallons of cereal. I don't remember which one's which. I think you get science if you get this correct. I think it's the bottom one. I don't really remember. And I'm not too keen to pull out the calculator either. But finally, all of our hostile city-state issues are basically done with. This commander over here is going to be trapped here for the rest of the game, which is pretty funny. And we can go ahead and repair all of our stuff. That was a +5 brickyard that he pillaged there, which was pretty frustrating. But now we can get a really good amphitheater in here. So that's a +10 science amphitheater. Let's do it. And we're going to go for it. We're doing pretty well in science. You know, it's only Catherine, well, it's these 3 really that are sort of stopping us, Catherine, Benjamin, and Gilgamesh. But I mean, I'm feeling all right. I could potentially get the Great Library here, so let's see how that goes. And we do also have another alliance we could potentially go in here with, so let's just see if she'll take it. She rejected it, which is pretty annoying. That hurts our relationship a lot. But that's fine. I think now that we do have a pretty decent amount of science going, let's go ahead and get the Friend of Way action up. So now we're up to 91 science, which is really, really good for turn 58. Just as I say that, a boat from Izirtu, which you'll note is all the way over here on the other side of the map, has sailed all the way over to our territory. So I really hope they don't keep pillaging stuff. I'm tempted to just go ahead and repair all this, but this guy's probably going to come through and just rinse us again, which is really frustrating. And we're about to enter a celebration here on this next turn. So you're going to see our culture go up by, I think, 25 here from all of our wine. So wine represents about half of our culture right now, which is crazy. I feel like I'm playing France. And we can get our 7th settlement up here. We potentially sell that a little bit early. It's going to hurt our happiness. But as you can see, actually, we're fine. We just entered into celebrations. That'll sort of keep us tided over for a while. Now we can grab all this silver, which again gives us food and gold in all of our settlements, so pretty good overall. We'll get the extra settlement limit here soon, and you know the settlement limit is not a hard cap in Civ 7 by any stretch. I think it's a mistake that a lot of newer players make, is being really afraid of the settlement limit. But if you have the happiness, you can just ignore it. So you know, don't be too afraid. And now we'll finally go ahead and grab Meiji Origins. We researched this super quick, which is good. And once we finish this academy, which we'll do straight away. Okay, Nalanda must be placed on plains, which, looking around, we don't have any plains. We are entirely in grassland. I'm not even sure how this has happened. I mean, I can't really tell where plains are, to be honest. I don't really know what I've got like 700 hours. I can't tell the different types of terrain apart. We can't build Nalanda anywhere. I can't see a single plains tile. We're actually down near the tundra, so I'm assuming plains is maybe near the middle of the map. That could be plains. That is plains. That's the kind of yellowy one. That's a bit of a shame. A bit of a huge misplay there from not actually checking what the requirements were for Nalanda. But that's okay. I guess we can go ahead. In 2 turns, we'll be working towards the Great Library, hopefully. So let's grab our amphitheater now. This gives us plus 10% production towards wonders, so that'll help a fair bit. And I'm tempted to just go ahead and chuck it right here because it will finish this quarter straight away and there's no adjacency over here other than the wonder. So this is effectively the same as building it next to the wonder. I think that's fine. A little bit weird, but I think it's perfectly serviceable. And we did get the correct answer on that narrative event before, so 19607. So we'll get the science. The good news is we may not have gotten Nalanda, but this does unlock literature for us, which is a really, really good card. I think the scouting one is fine to keep in for now. Let's go ahead and just plug out tool making. we'll grab the extra +6 science, and it speeds up all of our future science buildings like our academy. So that is mathematics 2, which is really good for us. So next turn has arrived. Let's go ahead and start building that. It's only 5 turns, which is really, really fast actually. That's awesome. I would love to build it like here, but I can't do that. So building it here is fine as well. It continues to buff up this really good spot here. But this is a 3 for resources here. So if we get a wonder here or here one day, that'd be really good to make that a 4 adjacency. But for now, let's get the Great Wonder, the Great Library over there, and we'll purchase this amphitheater. It didn't bring it down by a turn, which kind of sucks, but I really hope we can get this. That would be so good for us for the rest of the game. And immediately, the Great Library's gone. Catherine built it, which is a real shame. She's just going for the full Wonder Spam gameplay this game. That really sucks. That would have represented so much science over the course of the game for us, but it's kind of expected. I mean, look at her science. She's doing really well for herself, so that's a bit of a shame. +3 innovation and +1 science on all of your science buildings across your empire for the rest of the game. That's a real shame, but what can you do? So we're just going to go ahead and convert that production, which, I mean, obviously was not much. It was one single turn, but we can start working towards spherical Earth. So this is one of the new projects you can make for the science victory, so let's do that. It takes a lot of production to make. So we've finished Meiji Origins, which gives us the settlement limit, so we're back to 7 out of 7 now, and we get this 50% towards military and science buildings, which is really good. We've got quite a few academies going up. We'll have all of our science buildings going up in Kagoshima as well soon. Now, in terms of our civic, we could go for the Meiji Foundation here, +5% towards buildings for every tech mastery completed age. That's insane for getting buildings up quick, so that's pretty tempting, but let's have a look at our syncretism options here. We could affirm Meiji Japan, +1 science for every empire resource. Otherwise, Kamai, it's pretty awful. Mississippi, pretty horrendous. And Tonga, they have a really good quarter actually. Very culture focused. +2 gold for every trade route you have to a city-state is really, really good. Although you don't have their ability with it, which gives you the automatic trade route. Yeah, this is a pure run. This is proper, good old-fashioned Civ gameplay here. Plus, we're just probably going to stick with the Meiji affirmation, and +1 science for every empire resource is pretty good, actually. It doesn't say unique empire resource, so does that mean I'm going to be getting like 5 science from my wine? I sure hope so. But I think going for this Meiji Japanese foundation here is just way too good. +5% production towards buildings for every tech mastery, I think is just way too good to pass up. We haven't completed any tech masteries yet, but they're really, really cheap to make. So every single one of these now basically also reads 5% production towards buildings, so we'll start going for those. Now, it looks like Benjamin Franklin was completely surrounded by wonders here. He's got Machu Picchu down here and Thera up here, so he's doing pretty well for himself. And there's our 4th and final diplomatic endeavor that we just started with someone, so we get our diplomatic attribute point. Let's go ahead and plug that in. We'll take the happiness one. This one's just like terrible, this influence one. I'd never really recommend taking that. It scales really poorly, whereas the happiness is quite important throughout the game now. I do want to grab navigation eventually because that's where you get chart the stars. This is our second project for the science victory that we can produce. But let's go for writing mastery for right now. This will allow us to do the steel tech, which we can potentially point at Ben Franklin by the looks of it. We can't target Catherine because she's our ally, which is a bit unfortunate, but it'll be something to do with our influence. Quite a few of our cities have grown now, so let's go ahead and specialize some of these. Like I said, Sendai is just a classic candidate for a fishing town, so let's go ahead and do that. Start sending that food hopefully back to the capital. We'll just confirm here that's actually happened. Yes, it has. Of course, the UI to find this is really frustrating, but there you go. So Sendai's now feeding our capital, which is nice. Sorry, that is a lie, actually. I just checked. It was actually Osaka that was feeding our capital, so we do need to get a merchant over here. I mean, we could buy one. Let's just go ahead and buy it. We need to actually connect our capital up. Unfortunately, you can't connect it, Osaka to Tokyo here. That doesn't work, so I think that's what's going on, but again, as soon as you start dealing with connections in Civ 7, you just got to be prepared to start tearing your hair out. And this is just a really solid saw pit by the looks of it, so I'm pretty happy to go ahead and just buy a 6 production saw pit. That's 6 gold for the rest of the game. I didn't notice you actually get that little pop-up here that says +8 science, which is cool, because we're Japan. That's 6 gold for the rest of the game. I don't think people are building enough warehouse buildings. Warehouse buildings are so insane, and I think you should be aiming to build pretty much all of the warehouse buildings in every settlement when you can. It would be a really good game if you're able to do that. That's sort of a good indicator of how you're going, I think. Considering we do have so many saw pits in this town, let's go ahead and make this into a mining town, which is going to be a ton of gold for us. And there is our, again, another one of our traditions completed. So let's go ahead and put in experimentation for all that insane production towards buildings. That is really, really good. Charismatic leader, you know, -2 culture. We can plug that out now. Catherine has built another wonder, by the way. She's kind of going to be a bit of a threat this game, I think. I said that we're not going to do any war this game, but I suspect the modern age might prove to be quite interesting. She's just becoming a bit of an issue, particularly in culture. And I'm not going to be really that competitive in culture this game. I'm not too keen on relying on the AI to stop her from winning, so we'll have to see how that goes. But we have hit the crisis now, so let's see what crisis we're dealing with here. Let's go ahead and just take the science point. We don't really care too much about the military point for now. And we'll grab the science towards tech masteries here. We want all of these eventually, realistically, but for now, this one will help us get those tech masteries to get our buildings faster. And let's have a look at the crisis. So this is the happiness one. Great for us because we are not at all concerned about happiness. We're doing very well there. -6 in settlements you didn't found. That's fine. Let's keep our influence around us for now. And to be honest, we might be able to plug in a resource pretty soon to this. We could do it right now, in fact, if we could move them around. Otherwise, for our civics, we could start moving towards Angkor Wat, but let's be honest, Catherine's almost certainly going to take that away from us. So I think we will start going towards a syncretism here. Let's grab our final Japanese civic. And for the science tree, I think it's probably 3 turns. We have time, so we have 5 turns until our other project finishes, and then we just start looking at navigation. So let's finish off 2 more of these tech masteries while we're here. And as much as I would like to do some of these trade routes, let's go ahead and connect our capital up. So that should now create a road potentially from connected towns. Has actually gone. Okay, that's actually gone down. I'm not sure what's happening there. It looks like it was already connected. I don't know how. I don't know how connections work. This is not the video to explain it either. Okay, now that we're 3 turns away from finishing Spherical Earth, let's go ahead and grab navigation here. We did also get another city-state bonus, so we managed to finally get this person on our side. And let's grab the hill fort. It's a lot of free production for us. It's a great unique improvement that lasts for the rest of the game again, so let's do it. And in terms of specialists here, I mean, I guess we could start thinking about specialists, but I'm just thinking, like, there's a mine over here. We could make that into a hill fort. Isn't that just going to be so much better than getting, 3 production, 3 science? I suppose that's pretty good, all things considered. Let's just go it. Let's get a few specialists. I don't really tend to do this, but let's do it. And over here, though, we can start building some of these fantastic hill forts in Fushimi, so let's do that. We can also go ahead and grab some more hill forts over here in Kagoshima. So each hill fort gives +2 production on a rough tile, so it's just really, really good. Goes on top of stuff like mines, which are already really productive, and you kind of want to keep them around anyway. Okay, so there's syncretism and navigation as well. So let's go ahead and we have our syncretic choice here. Syncretic. Not entirely sure how to say that. But here we go. Meiji Japan affirmation. So Kimi 1, +1 science for every empire resource. Now let's go ahead and see if this works. So worst case, if this is actually unique, it's going to be +6 science, which would be terrible. If it's not, and it actually does what it says on the tin, then yeah, +13. So that's actually a pretty solid tradition, it's got to be said. Bringing us up to 158 science, which I'm very happy about overall. We can actually grab another point in here. +1 science for every resource assigned to our settlements, so up to 173 science. And if we get our friend of Wei going again with Catherine, that brings us up to 217 science. Unfortunately, I'm buffing her up as well every time I do this, but no one else wants to be my ally, so it's kind of my only option. And now we have the option down here in Tokyo, our capitals. Let's do Chart the Stars. Another +5 innovation and 2 free purchases of the altar when we complete it as well. This will also actually finish one of our triumphs here, which I haven't even talked about triumphs because, of course, they're not really worth talking about. Once we finish this, we'll have finished both projects. This gives us a really nice dedication for the next stage. Which will give us +25% production towards projects, which we're going to be doing a lot of for the science victory. And we're also getting pretty close to the codices one here, so I guess we'll do that. And I mean, sure, let's go ahead and track this as well. We could also look at this, +1 production for every 5 excess happiness you captured or founded. None of this really matters to us. I guess we'll track this one as well. We are getting pretty close to finishing all the masteries and techs, so there you go. We'll start looking at military training now so we can get our blacksmith, which represents a lot of production. And for our civics, I don't suspect we're going to make it all the way to future civic at this rate, although we are doing pretty well. Either way, let's just go up towards entertainment. This will give us some tourism celebrations, which might help us remain at least a little bit competitive with Catherine here on tourism. And we do have a bit of extra settlement limit coming up here. We have 8 right now, and entertainment's going to give us another one, so we can actually go up to 10 settlements. Now, we are starting to get a little bit cramped here, and I'm not entirely comfortable with the idea of settling over here. That's quite close to Catherine. Although we're so friendly that it's probably not really going to damage our relationship that much. I think realistically we'll get 1 settler here, and then we'll start thinking about incorporating Longchang. I'm not so sure about this settlement. I might settle here, but we'll see. Good news is, so we managed to research our blacksmith now, so we can start getting all of these up. So that is an 11 production blacksmith down in Fushimi. Over in the capital, we'll get this after we finish the project. 14 production blacksmith there. Really, really good stuff. And over here, 10 production and 1 science in Kagoshima. So really, really good building there. Even though we're quite late in the age, its base production is so high that I think it's still worth building right at the end. And again, this is a classic sort of mistake that a lot of newer players make. They think like, oh, the age is ending soon, like there's no point making these buildings. There absolutely is. You need to get that idea out of your head if you're going to get better at Civ 7. Just because the age is ending, you still got to be building, particularly tier 2 buildings, which have a really high base yield. You cannot just, your empire is at its apex right now. I have so much production. All of my civics are online. I got all these city-states. I can build like anything I want right now. My empire is at its strongest. Why would you stop building stuff right now when you're right at the height of your power? So don't make that mistake. Just because the age is about to end and you're in the middle of the crisis, keep your empire going, keep building that stuff. It's still very useful in the next stage. So a merchant finally made it over to a duelist, and now that we're here, we actually have a few more options. But looking at the resources here, I think, wine, gold, gypsum, silver, these are really good resources. So a duelist is perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and make that trade route. And that means we can plug in a few of these as well. So we can plug quartz in there. And that all looks pretty good to me. We'll go ahead and plug this in here as well. And kind of as expected, we managed to become friendly with everyone in the world, except for Ben Franklin, who's just really hard to get friendly with unless you're, the same government as him. That's been unfortunate. We also just lost a boat there, which has also been unfortunate, but we were going to lose it on age transition anyway, so who cares, right? And we're up to stage 2 of the crisis now, so let's plug in another card. I think at this point I'm happy to get rid of this influence. Just -7's not the end of the world. And I think we will go ahead and move a settler over here. I'm going to go for this settle next to Catherine. I don't think she'll mind, and if she does, it gives us an excuse to go to war with her and potentially take this capital, which has got, like 6 or 7 wonders here, so definitely would not mind getting a hold of that if I could. And we could start going for future techs here, and I think I will. Once we get to the point where I know the 10-turn countdown's coming, then we can make a better assessment as to whether we can sneak in another future tech or finish off these 4 masteries for the courtesies. I'm not really bothered either way, but we'll just see which one's going to be the better outcome once we get to the point where we can actually make that decision. But there's our triumph. So Round Earth is complete. We've finished both of these science projects, which does mean that we can now actually get 2 free altar purchases. So we'll go ahead and just grab these in plus 14 science there, which is nice. And for what it's worth, we have a lot of gold, so we should actually be spending some of this. Let's go ahead and grab the library here. And if we could kind of build down towards these mountains, that would be nice. Let's grab the brickyard over here, and that lets us get a nice monument in here as well. So Osaka has got a nice little glow up there. We can spread that population back out to those tiles there. Go ahead and grab the villa over here in Fushimi. Again, these influence buildings are really, really good to get before the end of the age, because that influence doesn't go away on the age transition. So +3 influence from the start of the next stage is a really good building. Otherwise, we're going to start building the harbour and the fishing quay in Kagoshima. Again, I can't stress enough how good warehouse buildings are and how good ageless buildings are. So stuff like the Hill Fort as well. Very happy to start building that. This is a permanent boost to your food and production for the rest of the game. Warehouse buildings are just so good. And when you start getting city-state bonuses involved as well, that's when it starts to get absolutely bonkers. Please, if there's one takeaway from this video, build your warehouse buildings whenever you can. And if you're worried about stuff like, oh, but they take up spots in my cities and, I can't overbuild them, all that stuff, you just got to get over that feeling. It's really not that big of a deal. If you're playing this game for like a, aesthetic city builder, then I totally understand the frustration from not being able to overbuild, a brickyard from 6000 BC. Like, why can't I get rid of that? Totally makes sense from a thematic point of view, but in terms of gameplay, it really doesn't matter if you just lose a few tiles to warehouse buildings. The payoff is more than worth it. So just build them where you can if you want to, win against the DDAI. Funnily enough, Angkor Wat is actually still open, so I probably could have gotten that in the end, but I know if I start researching this, I know that she's going to start building it. In saying that, I'm going to try. Yeah, we just got our first future tech there, and that has triggered the age countdown, which is slightly annoying. That's happened all pretty fast, realistically. The chances of us getting another future tech here, it's not impossible. I think we've got the friend of way. We haven't got the friend of way running, so we could get that up and going, and that would give us. We'll definitely make the threshold then. We did also get a science point from the random point, which is pretty lucky. So let's grab science in each quarter. That has brought us down to 10. Now I would love to get this going with someone that isn't Catherine, but right now she's the only person that likes us, so let's do that. I was planning on incorporating Longcheng, but it looks like I won't have the time here. I just didn't end up having enough influence, so let's just instead spend our influence on... No, let's go ahead and save it, because you do get to carry your influence over to the next stage, so this means I'll get to carry over about 200 influence next stage, so that's fine. And we can finally settle our city here as well, next to Catherine. She's not too keen about that, but we do finish 4 corners of the world. That's eight settlements we founded peacefully this game, which is pretty fun. I do like playing peacefully. We can settle this down here. And yeah, as you can see, it's hurt our relationship quite a bit, down to 54, which she's not, real fond of. But I think our relationship will survive this. She's sending me so many endeavors all the time, so I'm happy with this. So sure enough, like I said, I started researching philosophy, and Angkor Wat is going down from Catherine, so this is now pointless. I guess we could do it anyway. There's nothing else we're really that keen on, so let's actually just grab our skilled trade. This will give us the slightest bit of GDP before the age ends, instead of philosophy, which will do basically nothing for us. And the crisis has once again exploded even further. I'll just do -10 in our capital, that's totally fine. In terms of, look at all the science here as well, that's really satisfying. In terms of these triumphs, we'll definitely get to our 12 courtesies. We've got 7 turns till the age ends, 5 turns for future tech, and we will, of course, be getting... These are pretty easy to 1 turn, so no, we'll get those. So that should be fine. But we'll keep researching the future tech just in case. I'd rather get this than any of this, to be honest. We likely won't have time to finish the 4 masteries remaining, and the 5 city center yields is totally fine to not get, because all this does is give you specialist limit, and specialist limit I think is really trash, because specialists are trash, so not too concerned about that. I guess the mausoleum at Halicarnassus is still open. We really don't care about this at all, but again, it's just a useless wonder to stick in this spot here, so let's do it. We don't have anything else to really build that's that important right now, so let's go ahead and do that. And also just grab a second army commander in Fushimi, just in case we need it. Otherwise, we can also potentially get a second Zeal commander to give us some extra yields. We've just entered our final celebration of the age, up to 299 science and 111 culture. Pretty good age overall. We've got a town city. I've just noticed that Catherine has moved a bit of an army into my land here, but we are still friends, so this should be of no concern. Maybe she's just going to go ahead and take out this barbarian for us. That would be really nice, but she's got quite a decent looking army here, all things considered. Maybe we can get an ally in Gilgamesh. We can, so 2 allies if we want to take League of Legendary Friends. Spoiler alert, we probably won't. Otherwise, this age has gone pretty well, all things considered. We have done some decent scouting over here, so we can see there's actually another civ here from the distant lands. We have more or less hit the limit of what we can do with our starting area over here. Potentially one more settlement could go here, potentially one down here, incorporate these 2 city-states. That's probably realistically our limit. The distant lands are going to be really important for us considering we're so out of space, so that's going to be the big plan for the next stage. And unfortunately, we lost Mausoleum of Halicarnassus by 1 turn, so we never did manage to would wonder in this spot, but I mean, maybe next stage, I guess. Maybe next stage. That's fine. Okay, natural disaster going off. Massive blizzard, massive volcano. There's like a tornado up here. I'm fully expecting a tsunami to come through soon. That would be pretty on brand. But there's our future tech done, so now let's go ahead and get some of these masteries done. You can see here as well, we could 0 turn these if we had a way of producing some extra science, which, as Japan, guess what we do? So this is a bit of an advanced mechanic here. We can actually make this villa here, And when we purchase that, that overflows enough science for us to instantly get that tech. So doing this, there's a very slight chance we might be able to actually research these 3 remaining masteries in 2 turns, but that's how you research more than 1 tech per turn. And we do need to get this commander out. It's heading to the southeast. So let's head kind of over to the west here. We really just don't want this commander to die. If the commander dies and then the age transitions, you lose the commander forever, which would be really annoying. And we got another scientific point. This is unbelievable. 1, 2, 3. So that's a 1 in 36 chance that both of those landed on science, which is pretty awesome for us. And I think we'll just grab the science for every alliance. The building production is really good. The maintenance is pretty good, and I've never really taken this, but it actually looks pretty decent as well. But we're going to be getting a lot of alliances, most likely. So far, this seems like a pretty peaceful continent, actually. Most people over here, there's a few hostilities around, but most people are actually playing pretty nice. So I think we'll... look, it doesn't really matter too much. We could preserve this until the next stage and then decide then. I think we'll just go for the science now, that's fine. This might allow us to overflow and finish these techs. It's hard to say, but let's just take the science for now. We'll definitely have at least 1 alliance for the whole game, so that's not the end of the world. So we have 1 turn until the age transition. It's not looking too good for getting these last 2 masteries. We might end up being 1 off, unless we can, buy something really little that just tips us over the edge. It's so close. Look how close we are to this. We might be able to potentially do this if we purchase a few things. I'm not sure how worth it this is, but there we go. So we did just spend a few hundred gold and we managed to get that. This will allow us to get the last tech mastery, engineering 2, on the final turn of the age, which should allow us to finish a squared plus b squared equals c squared, Pythagoras. There you go. So yeah, a little bit of an advanced technique there. I could make a whole video, well, I couldn't make a whole video about that, but I've exercised that in a few videos, that sort of very niche scenario where you can get multiple techs per turn in Civ 7. Something to keep in mind, but don't worry about it too much. And so the Age of Antiquity is ending, so let's run through our final actions here. Let's not worry about specialists, because that'll just sort of drag us down to the start of the next stage. We'll just research this, so capital's nice and spread out there, claimed all that land. Let's grab 1 mine over here, and I could potentially think about buying a hill fort, although I have to worry about. I don't want to muck around too much around fixing all this. It's not these all get repaired at the start of the next stage anyway, so don't worry too much around getting that. But I don't think it's worth it to spend 300 gold. I think it actually it might. I think you get to carry over 1,000 gold into the next stage. So let's grab 1 more hill fort over here just before the age ends. We'll grow there as well. Future tech doesn't matter. And the age transition has begun. So this is the new screen here, age transition. So again, you could, if you wanted to, swap your civ around and do all that sort of thing. But for the purposes of this game, let's go ahead and let's just stay as Meiji Japan. And in terms of mementos, I don't think we're going to worry too much about settlement limit. It's looking like we might be a little bit squeezed for space anyway. So let's go ahead and grab an expansionist point, and I'll explain in a little bit why I'm going to be taking that one. Otherwise, let's just do a little search here for science and see what could be good. Cities gain 2% per great work could be alright, because we're going to be going for a lot of great works in the next stage. So let's do that. It's a little bit of a Catherine pick, but let's take those 2 mementos. I think I'm fine with that. And the reason is I want the expansionist point. If I take 1 point here, I could potentially go to this one. And then another point in the modern age, I could go to this one. And if I get something like Oxford University, I could potentially get this, or any sort of wild card or expansionist point. I really want to get to this card if I can help it. So let's do that. In worst case, I have an expansionist point that I can play around with, so really not that bad. But otherwise, that is it. So let's go ahead and hit the button, the big golden button here, transition to the next stage, and have a look at the new age transition screen, which is a lot smoother than it used to be. So here we go. The exploration age has begun. You can see, I've still got all of my stuff in the background there. We're still on the same map. I'm playing the same civ. It's nothing too scary, all right? All my buildings are still going to be there. I still got all my commanders with my units in them. It's no dramas. So here we go. We'll just let this load for a sec. Here we go. We'll hit continue, and the world wakes, and here we are. So there it is. There's the age transition. As you can see, nothing has really changed. All my stuff is still here on the same map, playing the same empire as the same civ against the same people. So nothing to be scared of. All right. Don't worry. You hear a lot of doom and gloom about these age transitions online by people who have 36 minutes of playtime, but they're really not that bad. And this is on the harsh setting, by the way. This is on regroup, where all of your units get shuffled back into your cities, which I think is definitely the better way of playing it, by the way. But still, as you can see, nothing really happens, all right? So don't get too scared about age transitions. Either way, that's what we're going to call it. So I think that was a really successful Antiquity Age. Got up to about 300 science there. We've got a best friend in Catherine the Great, who's just absolutely building everyone in the game. So we're going to have to come up with a bit of a plan as to how we're going to counter her. But I have just noticed she only has 3 settlements. I've just noticed that. Catherine was doing all of that with 3 settlements. I had not noticed this before. That's insane. Well, she might be a great candidate to actually go to war with. We'll have to see how we want to play this out. But she might fall off pretty quick here with only 3 cities. That's insane. Either way, thank you all for watching. So, let me know your thoughts on this video. Leave a comment if you've made any interesting observations you want to, let me know about. If you've got any questions, of course, feel free to ask them away. But again, if you like the video, drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of stuff. I'll be making more videos on Civ 7, very similar to this. And we'll hopefully play the rest of this game and go for a good old science victory in the modern age. So thanks, everyone. Have a good one. See you next time. Thank you, as always, to the channel members who support me month to month, which is Carsius, Int Paladin, Awesome DayZ, Chase Bandy, Tronty Wanty, Shamal TV, Chris1 Mac, and JLA7. Your support is very much appreciated.